Live from the Macaroni Mansion, featuring Vinnie Paz, it's the Broad Street Breakdown!
I mean,
a lot of mercy. Follow me, you know. This is episode 34 of the Broad Street Breakdown. My name is Vinnie Paz. I'm with my co-Ds, The Sicko, The Professor, The OG. Let me see here. Broad Street Breakdown is being brought to you by Crescent Street Tattoo, 4371 Crescent Street, Philly, PA. CrescentStreetTattoo.com, and by No Slam Dancing, No Stage Diving, No Spikes, an oral history of the legendary City Gardens, written by Miss Amy Yates Wolfing and Stevie Puerto Rico.
oh,
Check them out on Facebook at No Slam Dancing, on IG, No Slam Dancing Book. Gentlemen, we are back again for Thursday's episode of our little gimmick here.
Party.
Does anyone have anything to say for themselves?
I'm working on, we've talked about this before, Freddie Alva's book, Urban Styles, and it's about graffiti in New York hardcore, and we're getting close to the end. We're almost done with all the editing, getting ready to go into production, the actual making of the book. So
Good for you.
that's what I've been immersed in all week.
Good for you. Professor, you look like you're chomping at the bit.
It's OG trying to look at my shit. I got to write it in code now.
Oh,
Not
Right.
the code.
Yeah, because I'm working all day for me mates.
Nice.
That's
That's what I'm up to.
you a no selling that?
A Cox bar?
Yeah.
No, so
Kickspur.
it was okay.
It's
You're me mate. I'm working for you.
I'm with you. My man.
OG.
I ain't got nothing, man.
Me neither, man.
There's, you know, I don't know if you've noticed it, but there's been a proliferation on the Twitter.
I don't know what that means.
We have
Big word.
a lot of new Twitter accounts have popped up. There's some, I don't know if we'd say friends of ours, but folks who have made an appearance on the show.
Well, look, they hear themselves get pit over on the show, and then they figure they'll build a social media following. You know what I'm saying? They know that.
It's the kids are trying to cash in.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Filomeno tried to cash in, and it's working out for
It
him.
is working out.
Then
for
we,
Phil.
well,
Uber
the one
Gary.
interesting- we got two Uber Garys,
Yeah.
and they got heat apparently.
Look,
Something
man,
suspicious about. I don't know which one's real, which one's not. But
Look, a wise man once said, "Man, there can only be one."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So you know, you got to show your ass both literally and figuratively.
yeah, well,
you might have to show your wang too to me. I'll decide.
So you're telling me you could tell who the real Uber Gary is?
I know which wang hooks which way. Usually it hooks right about midway through.
I like
I
Sicko,
know.
write that down.
Which, say it again. What was it?
I don't remember. I know which way the wang turns.
I know which way, which wang.
Wang hooks.
Because don't forget, I was in the front seat with Uber Gary, so I saw a lot more than you guys saw in the back seat.
Ah man,
I wasn't there.
I like Bike Stop Gary better than Sassy Gary.
I think I'm a sassy Gary man.
Me too. I think I am too. Anybody else?
There's a sad Ian that popped up.
alligators.
Alligator.
She's trifling. Allie's trifling.
What I'm
She's trying to get it too.
What I'm trying to say is though, she's trying to live off the shine that we.
Yeah, I knew she would do that though.
You know what I mean? She's trying to pick up some of our waves, man. She's trying to soak up our waves because we're wavy.
I'm trying to draw a sad
I was
sicko.
just saying, are you drawing me now?
Holy shit, that's great.
Fuck, man. Hasn't there been enough of that?
No.
Sicko!
Go back to drawing Pablos.
It's not sad enough.
I'm not done.
All right,
I have an idea. I have a concept.
all right.
Fuck.
So, yeah, the idea of South Street came up.
We all four of us have such a history with that little strip of road.
Yeah,
in our
Sicko, you want to
lifetimes.
explain to non-Philadelphians South Street? I don't.
South Street.
Then and now, I suppose.
Yeah.
and
Where
every-
do all the hippies meet?
South Street, South Street.
So obviously, from the song, it's been a happening sort of thing since at least the '60s. It probably goes back even further than that. It's always been known as back in the day, it was a haven for weirdos, artistic type people. When we came along in the 80s, it was very punk rock. You had some of the greatest
Skate shops, skateboard shops,
record
podcast
stores.
It was grimy as fuck.
It was grimy as fuck, and it was just one of the best ways I heard it described. If you're from the East Coast, you'll get this. It's like the shore. It's like the boardwalk without an actual beach or ocean. It's like
Yeah, I mean, fashion. There was stores there that you never saw any of that clothes ever.
right. It was a lot of independent shopping to be done, like cool shit back in the day. And then there was always like a few certain areas of it that belonged to people. Like if you went down to the Fountain, in that Headhunter Square, like on 2nd Street.
Yeah.
Like when I started hanging out there, that's where all the punks hung out. And then there were, for a time.
Is that what they call that? Headhunter Square?
Head House Row or something.
Is that
House Square.
Headhouse Square? Yeah.
Headhunters Row.
Yeah, whatever.
That's where they slaughter people back in the colonial times.
I'm not mad at you.
So for me, like I vividly remember the first time I ever went there as like a little kid. I went with an aunt of mine before I was hip to anything, before I even was conscious of music or anything like that. And I just remember it being kind of like this awesome place. I didn't understand it, but it was really cool. And then when I was probably about 12 or 13, I started going down there regularly because I went looking for records, and a dude I hung out with, an older head who hit me to stuff, was like, "Oh, you want to buy records? This is a place to go." And there were places like Chaos Records down there. Even the Tower Records down there was always really cool because you could find shit.
Absolutely.
Even though it was a big chain, you could find shit. You could find, like, I bought I don't know how many like discs. Like I bought the Minor Threat, the 2/7s on a 12 down there, which if you think about it nowadays, that's kind of crazy. And it was just a cool place to hang out. Gavin spent many, many years working there. I actually had an apartment on South Street for a couple of years. That's where I met my wife.
I did some things in that apartment.
We all did some things in that apartment. Vin, I know.
Looking at the Sad Ian picture.
It's stupid sicko. This picture's brilliant.
Books, he says on his shirt. That's great. I wish I could live feed that right now.
That's pretty good, Steve.
Yeah, that's great. It's wonderful.
I mean, Tower didn't even come for a while, though. Before there, you had...
Yeah, because that's where Skins was.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Skins moved.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they had there was before, like, people did shit on the front of their stores. I mean, Skins had their shit painted all the way up to the 3 stories.
Right,
where there was, like, punks.
Wow.
Right.
You had Skins, you had Spike Skates.
Yeah.
You had Zipperhead.
Was
I mean, that's
big
where
deal.
that's the only place you could get T-shirts for a while. All them spots.
Yeah.
Zipperhead. I remember I got a fuck racism shirt at Zipperhead, and just first off, owning it was I saw that shirt, my fucking skull exploded. I was like, this is the illest shirt I ever saw, and when you're 11 or 12, that's not really popping.
Yeah.
Having that shit. On
I
your
actually
shirt.
once got thrown out of the food court in Liberty Place for wearing a fuck racism shirt. They told me I had to leave and I couldn't wear it.
I was told to leave or turn it inside out in a pizza spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically the same thing.
I mean, we all have stories. We all have, like, one of my favorite memories. I think I had either just started living down there or was close to it, but like we used to go down all the time. We'd always meet up with the Lost Children of Babylon guys.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, there were mad times where I would just sit around and watch all you guys rhyme, like just in a parking lot, literally drinking 40s out of brown paper bags.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely honed my craft there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was like Love Park and South Street in terms of.
And what was that spot? The hip hop, so BB,
Well, there
B-Boy
was
Club.
There was you had Layup, you had Funkadelphia, and you had I can't remember the third place where Cosmo was always at, which is where you were talking about where the cobblestone is on Second, where the Wawa is now that we were talking about. Over there was another store back buried in there. That's where I used to get my Cheapo the Pro and Cheapo the Pro tapes. But yeah, Funkadelphia and the Layup.
Where was the spot where we met Legion at?
That was Layup.
Okay.
Yeah. But Gavin was you were working at Tower first?
Yeah, I started at Tower in '94.
Right.
That was the first place I worked on South Street.
And then what was the spot across from the street? The little indie spot.
Rock and Roll Plus.
Yeah, I bought mad shit in there
Me too.
over the years.
Because they had cassettes till like the very end, so that's where I was buying shit too.
Yeah.
We have one really funny story that you and Pablo should tell about my apartment, and you's walking in on an unexpected surprise one night.
Well, you were living on top of the spot you were working, and I believe your boss where you were working also was renting you the place. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or no?
I lived on the second floor.
And he lived on the third. So the stairs were mad narrow and mad steep.
And no light.
And no light. And he had, it was definitely two. It might have been three. He had two pit bulls.
Two giant pit bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, friendly. They're friendly dogs.
They were very friendly. I got along swimmingly with them.
Oh.
I think we went in.
He had this thing where, so what would happen, what had happened was, I would work, and I'd usually work till pretty late. We stayed open pretty late. And Pablo and Vinny and
Whoever else
was around at the time would show up like a normal time, like 7, 8 o'clock. And it got to a point where it was like, you wouldn't even say nothing. You'd stick your head in, and I'd just toss my keys to you. And you'd go right up to the apartment and start drinking and whatever. And I'd just meet you when I'd get done. And my boss had this thing when he was getting ready to walk the dogs. He'd let them out of his apartment, and he'd leave them in the hallway and do whatever, and then come back and get them and take them out for a walk. So one night, I was working. You guys came down, threw you the keys. You opened the door. What happened?
No. So we got the keys, and then we went up to your apartment. We started drinking, just waiting for you to get off work. So I think what happened was, so then you got off work, you came up, and then we just fucking all, rounded the troops up, and then we were getting ready to go out for the night. I think we're going to go around the corner to that Tribeca, or what was that?
Yeah, Tritone was on like 13th and South.
Yeah, that was further up.
What was the one right around the corner that did the reggae in the basement?
Oh, Philo's.
Yeah. I think we were going there, whatever. So we're all drunk. We're geared up for the night. So me and Vin leave first out of Sicko's apartment. So we open up. It's fucking pitch dark in the hallway. So we go out in the hallway. We shut the door. We turn the light on. And at the bottom of the steps, these two fucking pit bulls looking at us. Me and Vin look at each other. The pit bulls look at each other and just start making a fucking break for us. Like up these steps. And Vin and I did like the typical sitcom. Like, we were like fumbling for like Sicko's door. We can't get Sicko's door open.
Dogs in the hallway.
We're like, and we fucking just open the door somehow. And we fucking run in the room and slam the door. And these dogs are just like, woo. And we just start like looking at each other, just like laughing hysterically because like we almost got killed by these dogs.
Yo, I was ready to pit Pablo in front of
he was gonna push me down the steps.
Human shield.
Like, look, man, there's no sense for both of us to get eaten here. So I mean, someone's.
And you had a burgeoning career. This fuck wasn't doing nothing.
He wasn't married or had kids yet. So
somebody's got to be sacrificed.
If you looked at the two of us then and looked at who's got more promise,
I'm puppy chow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite memories.
It's one of the funniest nights of my life.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
the look on your two faces was fucking.
Those dogs were as shocked as we were, but they were like, "Fuck it."
But they recovered quicker
Yeah,
than
yeah,
you,
yeah,
and
I'm
they
mad
got their
scared
dog
of
on.
dogs, man. Like, obviously not all, but certain breeds scare the shit out of me. Just because some of are their temperaments you don't know.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
any strange dog that you don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
So-
then these things were fucking monster pit bulls. They were not, they were sweethearts and they had great temperaments, but
I mean,
if you're a stranger in their territory, they're gonna do what pit bulls do.
when they were coming after me and Pablo, they didn't look too.
They
fucking
saw one
friendly.
hot dog and one hamburger.
Yeah,
They were
like the
fucking-
cartoon. Thing.
Yeah.
like the Bugs Bunny John.
South Street was awesome for me because it was an eye opener. Like, we took the L down, which is something I wasn't allowed to do, so I actually snuck down there, taking the trolley and the L. And then once we got there, you were just like, "Holy shit!" There's a culture going on, and that's where you met like for real punk rockers. Like, I may be rich, but I hate my parents, so I'm living on the street. And you're like, "Holy shit!" Like, there's dudes that are living this punk rock lifestyle for real, man. Like, bad tattoos,
Yeah,
dope clothes though, like
Yeah,
dope punk clothes, like
it was dirt bags galore.
dirt bags, man.
And you had some bars that would do punk and hardcore shows, like Dobbs was probably the one that did the most in our era of like all ages hardcore shows, and they did matinees sometimes. And,
When did they start?
I mean, they were
Dobbs.
around for a long time, but as far I don't honestly know when they started doing anything that was like what we were into. I know they did a lot of like Philly, like Robert Hazard and stuff like that. Ken Queter and shit like that.
Jesus.
George Thorogood played there a lot.
Yeah. And then at some point in the 80s.
Before he had national hits, you mean, or
Well,
Or both.
Thorogood's a weird thing because he was big around here for a lot longer than he had.
yeah, nationally.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was pretty known around here fairly early on. So I seem to remember he would do like 3 nights in a row at like a weekend residency kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and,
like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something.
Yeah, and so he's a weird one because I think our view of him is a little bit
Skewed.
yes, because he was so local to the area.
Yeah.
And like the local radio stations to this day still play him quite a bit. So I think our opinion of him might differ from what the national opinion was.
Yeah.
I think he didn't hit until, MTV and Bad to the Bone when he was in that video with
I want to tell you, honey. Bad.
he's playing pool with Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
Bad.
That was an early MTV kind of hit, but he was around for years previous to that around here.
Right.
Yeah.
And was sort of a big local
Yeah, it
deal.
was eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories of South Street when I had lived there was when me and you went and met Clive Barker
Yes.
at Tower
Tara Books in store.
I think we're all pretty. We don't get starstruck easily, and it was kind of one of those things. We knew it was going to be a big deal.
We were like the first 4 in line, too.
Right, because I lived like 2 blocks away, so I just fucking kept scoping out the area, and I waited till I saw like the first person wait in line. I was like, all right. Then I posted up and just waited for Pablo to come. And I mean, I'm just sitting there, and Pablo rolls up. I think he had every fucking Clive Barker book ever written to that point.
I was down the shore that weekend, too, and I actually came back from the shore right to South Street.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And he signed all published, and I went up with him, and he's like, "Would you like me to sign anything?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "But I do want to show you this," and I did like the corniest thing ever. I have on my right shoulder, I have a tattoo of a Magica.
The book.
book.
Cover it right.
Yeah, the cover of a Magica, and I showed it to him, and he kind of bugged out. He was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Word.
Well, so I didn't find out till years later. So I did the same thing as he was signing my books. I was like, Clive, I just want to show you
Yeah.
my Hellraiser tattoo and my Gates of Midian tattoo, which is on my lower back. And someone else, the person that was next to me in line, Bean, told me years later, he's like, you turned around. He turned to his buddy and goes, "Oh, gates a medium by your ass. How Freudian."
Wow.
Whoa.
By your arse. He's like, "Oh, gates a medium by your arse.
Nice.
How Freudian."
And then later that day, I had a funny story. So the
You're telling the gimmick gang you have a tramp stamp, right?
I do.
All right.
Clive tramp
I
stamp.
mean,
You want to see it? Private message me.
I worked at this coffee shop.
Jesus. Who knows what he's got going on in his
I
private
don't-
messages?
No,
and
I
stuff.
don't.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine?
No, I'm half wrapped up in his sick mind and half wrapped up in your portrait of Sicko that you're drawing.
I mean, that could pay for the whole year of podcast. We sell that picture.
I agree.
Jesus Christ.
Tattoo. You just put the tattoo on him too. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome.
That will be burnt before the night
I
is
love
over?
that fucking thing.
How dare you.
I'll pay for it. What do you want for it?
I better get a commission. I better. Get
What
a cut
happened?
out of
What
it.
happened after this in store?
So, right next to the coffee shop that I
Yours.
worked at,
Okay.
there was this Italian restaurant owned by an Italian family from Italy.
Sounds like an Italian restaurant to me.
And so this guy's got jokes. So it was like these two brothers who are fucking just gigantic. They're monsters. And what they would do is they would just get drunk and fight each other all the time, every day. And then afterwards be like, "Oh, I fucking love you," like big hugs and everything.
What kind of fucking accent was that?
I don't know.
It was like
came out of nowhere. Hey,
it was like an Irish brogue.
So they had this sister.
He was like, "Hey, I'm Hansel and Gretel."
I don't even know how to comment to that.
They had this sister, and her name was Tiziana.
Titsy?
Tiziana.
Titianas?
T-I's, and she had a rack. She was gorgeous. So they had this like sort of back deck that overlooked my window or whatever, and I would go over and hang out with them all the time. And I was sitting there later that night, and we were all sitting around drinking, and we were pretty bombed on some wine. And the two brothers started fighting down below, and then all of a sudden it got quiet, and the next thing I know, we're like up on the third floor. Next thing I know, this fucking hand comes over the railing, and the brother had scaled the wall to get to and the other brother comes in the house, and they just start fucking brawling, and they go tumbling down the steps. Fucking, it's like a cartoon, like a fucking circle, and they beat the shit out of each other, and that just went. And then the next morning, everybody was all best friends again.
And that ties into next across the street,
I
which
wish
is
they beat Sicko up.
that ties into what's across the street, which is Lorenzo's Pizza, which is might be the best pizza in the city, but man, do you pay for it?
Every 4th of July, Papa Lorenzo will come out with his fucking 44 and just buck shots in the air.
I mean, you don't have to.
Happy
it
America.
doesn't have to be July 4th for him to pull
Yeah,
out the 4-4,
yeah.
but.
That's a good pizza. The Ishkabibbles is banging, but they're rude as fuck too. They make awesome cheesesteaks.
Chicken cheesesteaks.
Their cheesesteaks are pretty good too. The regular cheesesteaks.
Nah.
Gavin beat up plenty of people in Tower.
What happened when? What was the setup to the story where the doors were locked?
Now
And
you
it
just
turned into-
can't leave.
It turned into Thunderdome in there. Am I mixing something up?
No, I think I told that.
I think you
one
told this story
before.
before.
Okay.
That was with the
Bob,
Bob, my
Muslim
Nation
Bob?
of Islam friend.
Right. Yeah, you did tell
there was a
that.
lot of in-stores on South Street with Tower Books and Tower Records. It's where Howard Stern did his in-store and practically shut the fucking street down.
Yeah, it was mayhem.
And you're saying Ozzy wasn't at that one, Jeff?
He was in the Northeast. He wasn't on
Okay.
South Street. Yeah, I was in a lot of riots. There was a lot of riots on South Street that I was in. Literal riots. I'm not exaggerating. Real riots. I've probably been in conservatively 10. I saw a guy get shot in front of the McDonald's. I had a knife pulled on me 2 separate times. Yeah, I was exposed to a lot of the not so cool aspect of
yeah.
There was sort of a dark
Yeah.
undertone to a lot of South Street, and I was definitely a part of that and worked in and experienced a lot of that.
I saw a lot of that too because I also worked in a lot of the bars on South Street.
Right.
One of them being an infamous place where a lot of people hung out. And I never had any trouble with them because I provided things for them. And we'll just leave it at that.
Let's leave it at that, shall
But
we?
I saw them do some fucked up shit in this bar. I seen many people get stabbed. I remember this bar back in one night, and I got told by my manager that I had to go into the bathroom and break up this threesome that was going on with this one biker dude and these two of the ugliest women I've ever gigantic, huge, dirty, nasty women. And I walked in, and they're just throwing down in this disgusting toilet, and I'm just like, you know what? Have at it. And I just turned and walked away because I was not getting involved.
I'm a little bit sickened.
That's gross.
Remember when we I think you were with us. I know it was definitely me and you in your Pathfinder. We were just like going out. I had nothing to do. We were heading down that way. And we were going through, I think we were driving through Southwest Philly. And we were like, man, there's a lot of like traffic. And even for like a Friday night, there's a lot going on. And we got down to the South Street area. We parked a ways away and we're walking. And we didn't realize nothing. We turned the fucking corner and we were right in the middle of the Greek picnic.
Oh, yeah, I was there.
Which was a thing that I don't know if it happens elsewhere, but here in Philly, it's like black fraternities.
It's originated in Atlanta.
Yeah, and it still happens in Atlanta.
Well,
I think.
The Freaknik.
Well, Atlanta, I don't know on what level it still happens in Atlanta, but Atlanta threw them out. So what it is black fraternities from across the country meet in a specific
City.
Yeah.
So Atlanta was the city. When Atlanta stopped having the picnic, they started having it here.
Yeah.
Fairmount Park.
Right. So what it is it's a picnic during the day, which there's never a problem, but at night there was a converge onto South Street with a mix of people who were at the picnic, but also a lot of people from Camden and a lot of people from North Philly and a lot of people from all over the fucking place would converge onto this one strip, which was South Street. And for the first, I would say the first 4 or 5 years,
Yes.
the police did not know how to handle it on
Yeah.
any level. I, of course, was in the thick of it,
Yeah.
working and
Yeah.
surviving. And
Why we used to have parties at my apartment because like you couldn't go anywhere, so it would be like
Just watch the fucking
Come
shit
and-
show happen. Yeah.
come and get shut in at my place. We can go up on the roof. We used to go up on the roof and throw shit at people, and they'd have
Yeah, I mean, every year was the same thing.
That was my favorite part.
We'd eventually get enough guff to go onto the street.
Guff.
guff. He says.
We'd walk the street just to see what was going on, and usually like 2 hours would go by, and then someone would yell gun, and then literally the whole street would run towards you.
Stampede.
Like 200, 400 people just running towards you, and you'd have to do the gimmick where you would get in front of the telephone pole and stand there and watch everyone run past you, and then you bounce and just hope that they were just talking shit and there was no gun.
I was never down there for the Greek and didn't have someone yell gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Never.
Every
not
year.
once.
Every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you would hear shots. You
Yeah.
would hear popping off.
I was working a tower, so this is summer of '95. Was it in the summer that the Greek was?
Had to
Whenever
be.
it
Had
was,
to
but
be.
it was
Yeah, because everyone's
95.
all...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the doorway of tower, so there was like, when you would go into the front door, there was a little bit of
a foyer?
An alcove.
what was that called? Like the sidewalk is here, and the doors are here. There's the two glass things were
Like
here.
a mezzanine almost?
Yeah, yeah. So there's this area that we used to stand and smoke cigarettes and kind of hang out and watch stuff. So I was maybe 3 steps away from the crowd, smoking a cigarette in the corner. And I mean, the street, you could not fit another fucking person on the street itself. but I was cool in this little corner.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of watching. So 2 doors down, where there was a McDonald's at the time, somebody shot somebody else. And this is not the time I was thinking of that I saw somebody get shot at that same spot. This is a different time.
Different time.
So the crowd started fucking running up towards, from 6th Street up to 7th.
Okay.
Towers in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I'm in this little fucking thing, and as the crowd is running up, a couple of people filter into
Where you're at.
where I'm at. And
Yeah.
when I say a couple people, I would say maybe 50 people filtered into this little spot. In the meantime, security at Tower locked the door so nobody could get in. Because that was sort of the rule when there was a deal on the street.
Yeah, when
you
shit's
lock
about
it.
to hit
Yeah.
the fan, yeah.
Not knowing I was out there. So I was like, fuck. So I literally had to punch my way, because I was now underneath maybe 3 people in the corner. I sort of ducked down in the corner, not realize when somebody got shot, kind of ducked down, not realizing that 2 seconds later there's going to be 50 people in that little space.
Right.
I had to punch my way out to get to which was 2 steps away, to get to the door
To show
the head of security at the time, who was this bad motherfucker. He was able to pry open the door, pull me in, and lock the door again, but literally had to just start swinging. I'm punching women. I'm punching whoever the fuck was in there. Literally had to punch a hole into this little crowd in order to get 3 steps to the front door to get pulled in. That night it took us from 6th and South to go to 12th and Lombard, which is literally blocks away.
Yeah.
Hour and a half to get, what is that? Fucking 6 blocks.
Yeah.
Well, once
7 blocks.
once they got hip, the cops started cattle shooting the city. So because what would happen is the Greek Week would show off their cycles or their cars and just cruise, and then that fucked up the city. So then they cattle shoot you. We could only go down one street and up one street and down one street, and it was fuckery. And like if you were down there on the regular, you were fucked too. So you were stuck in this cattle shoot if you wanted to go 2 blocks.
Yeah,
it was very experimental the way they dealt with it, because one year they would do a certain thing, then the next year they realized it didn't work, so they would do another thing. Like one year they literally roped off
I remember that. Yeah.
the street itself, so everyone was stuck on the sidewalk. So you had the same amount of people,
but in way
who
less.
who in way less space. So
Yeah.
that was fucking even worse. And then it was fucked, man.
Then by
the Greek weekends were fucking fucked.
by like I'm gonna excuse me, I want to say like 98 they came up with this thing, and it was crazy to watch because it started right in front of my apartment and I watched it from the window. What they would do is on that block, I was on 2nd Street, which is kind of the beginning of South Street, and when they got to the point where they had enough, they would get like 6 cops on horses, right, and they form a line. And then behind them would be like 20 cops on foot. And in front of the horses would be like almost like these tanks. And they just start moving forward. Be
Well,
like,
they took
it's time to go home, and just push.
the dude who was, I may have this story a little bit messed up, but this is the premise of it. The guy who was the police chief at the time then had worked in New York, and he was friends with the guy who worked in New Orleans. And he said, this is the way we deal with Mardi Gras. When you're done, this is what we do. And that year, and maybe the year after, that's the tactic they used that year. And in all honesty, it worked to get motherfuckers out.
Oh, it absolutely worked. It was
why they
scary
stopped doing that, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you're right, it was about that year. But what happened shortly after that was the Fat Tuesday riot.
Don't know nothing about that.
And I wasn't here for that. Yeah, I had moved.
Oh, I was in the thick of that one too.
Yeah.
That's the one. That one was worse than any of the Greek weekends.
Yeah.
That one was a fucking riot, full on fucking riot. like busting windows, fucking smashing shit, lighting shit on fire, full on fucking riot.
Yeah, I've taped my one bull on Channel 6, smashing a window.
Remember we were at the crib?
Yeah.
Watching it live,
Yeah.
we're like, yo, I'm not going to say who it is.
And they were calling us earlier, like, yo, come down and drink. It's the best. And I'm like, what are you guys doing on South Street? Because they were just not the type of dudes that hang out on South Street. And then, like, I think that's what half of it was heads that weren't, punks and skins or whatever, hanging out on South Street. And just, they heard it was a fuckery and you could go crazy. And motherfuckers took it to, like, the 10th degree.
It had the street had definitely started changing previous to that.
Yeah.
Well, once the corporations came in too, and
Right,
started
it
fucking,
stopped being.
It started with
independently-
McDonald's.
It stopped being independently owned businesses and started to become corporate businesses. And little by little, it switched over to the point that, fuck, the last time I was on South Street, the majority of it was corporate owned businesses. So it completely changed. Still brought the same amount of people, but a different sort of demographic than it did for years. It wasn't so much independently based anymore. It was more tourists and bored young people looking for something to do, probably drinking and looking to fight.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the vibe for the past bunch of years. I haven't been down there at this point for a while, so I don't know what it's like now.
I was just gonna ask that exact question. What is it like now? Is it thriving? Is everything dead?
I don't have any
We were
idea.
actually down there in June.
for the TLA. Yeah,
Yeah. And
it's bumping, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
The new crowd's in. I think it's just another, like, I don't want to say Greenwich Village or something, but it's not punk anymore, really. But it's just more like a hip place to be, and like a safe place of the city where you can.
Are there still stores everywhere?
Hey,
And what-
let me tell you something, man. Whatever the news might portray, or newspapers or art, whatever, South Street is not. Maybe it is right this second, but it is not a safe place to be.
Yeah.
There used to be news reports after Greek weekend, for example. They'd be like, "Oh, there was one incident," and I would be right there in the middle of it, watching motherfuckers get killed.
Right.
And it wasn't reported on any level because it's bad business.
Yeah.
Yep.
It puts a bad fucking vibe on it. And once mid-June hits, every Saturday night is like Greek weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
can co-sign that. Yeah.
From mid-June until end of August. On the weekends, it's a fucking shit show, and you never quite know what you're getting into.
Are you guessing it's still like that right now?
I can't see how it wouldn't
It was
be.
what it was when we were there
Yeah.
in June. It's all dudes on the crotch rocket bikes, dudes on them four-wheeler bikes, like doing the fucking
really?
wheelies. Yeah, like that's what it is.
What?
Yeah.
And what
the thing
what
of it-
businesses are on the street? What?
It's not so much about
Yeah. It's the one place you can loiter and pretty
Yeah.
much they can't
You're
do
right about
anything
that.
about it.
So
Okay.
in mid-June it starts, and then by like the end of July, the cops start getting into the mode of let's clear this shit out. But you got a good month and a half before anybody starts doing anything about anything. Those first couple weekends, you won't see a cop anywhere. And then by the end of August, there's cops all over the fucking place.
Right.
So I don't know if it's like one of those things where there has to be a certain amount of incidents before they put more cops down there,
Yeah.
or what the technicalities of it are. But there have been times where I would be, walking to after work, walking to wherever I was going, home or to my car or whatever,
Yeah.
and being like, yo, some of these motherfuckers are going to get killed. Where the fuck are the cops, man?
Right.
I had been through it so many times, and I just learned how I adapted to it. I knew how to sort of deal. And it was weird too, man, because the vibe would like it would be a certain time, like 8 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, you would have all these daytime marks down there shopping.
Yeah.
And they would get caught. And all of a sudden, the fucking mood would change. And they're like, fuck, I got to get the fuck out of here. It was crazy. You'd see motherfuckers from, like, Jersey and stuff scrambling to get the fuck off the street.
Right.
While everybody, like the nighttime crowd, fucking moved in.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
And it was, man, I can't even begin to tell you how much shit I've seen down there. Just bad, not good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not even the Tower years. This is the later years.
Right, right.
This is the repo and tattoo shop years.
Yeah.
As far as the businesses that are on South Street, it's a lot of, well, first of all, they repealed some kind of ordinance. So like every block's got like 3 like head shops, like weed shops where you buy bongs and shit like that.
Really?
There's a million of them.
Yeah, the deal with that for years and years and years and years. You could not sell any supply, like weed supplies, on any level on South Street. All of a sudden, they changed that.
Yep.
When they changed it, fucking every block there's
Thunderdome.
fucking 3 or 4 of them.
And then the rest of it is like
And they're-
cell phone stores.
The funny part is they're all owned by the same couple of dudes.
Yeah.
So they open 3 on this block, 1 on this block, 2 on the next block, 2 on the next block, and they own all these fucking places. It's a strange fucking, I guess in that volume, you somehow make a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, we're going to take our first break. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to Broad Street Breakdown, broadstreetbreakdown.com.
1 2 1 2. This is Blackistan, aka Black and Stanley Kubrick, aka Black Foley, aka Black and Stanley, aka Black Atola Khomeini, aka Prime Minister Black, and you are now listening to the Broad Street Breakdown.
And we're back at the Macaroni Mansion.
So I only get the intro, like the Ed McMahon at the beginning.
Hi-yo!
Coming out of it.
You should do like the late night talk thing.
Here's
No. Like from Philadelphia.
From Philadelphia.
It's David Letterman.
All right, I'm going to do a super professional one next episode.
It's-
Now that I know this is what you guys are looking for. I didn't know where you guys were going.
Well,
for
I
an
like
angle.
I like where you went, and so now we'll take it a little bit further.
Now
Yeah.
we'll build off what you already created.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
thank you.
With you.
Sicko, I believe I will throw it over to you.
This might be my finest art piece. So he's not.
It's fuck.
I
I never knew how
hate it.
good you were. I knew you're a doodler.
I'm
That's
gonna
really
be
good.
honest, he is really. I'm a mark for Gavin for 30 years as a person, but now as an artiste,
He's quite the artist.
I hate it.
he's
really hate it?
I hate it.
Like,
what I hate most
Yeah.
is now I have to get that tattooed on me.
I'm getting a shirt made up of that.
I think this is better than the other one.
It is.
we're taking a picture of it, and that's what's what.
Sicko.
Hey, don't forget, everybody. If you got questions for the show, if you got suggestions, we're not going to listen to them, but you can always send them. Hit us up through email. Email is info@broadstreetbreakdown.com. That's info@broadstreetbreakdown.com. That's where you send questions for the show, for the people on the show, pretty much any topic. Don't expect to get an answer. We're not going to write you back. That's not what the email address is for. If you got a good question, then maybe it'll make it on the air. So, info@broadstreetbreakdown.com. Do all the iTunes stuff. Go to iTunes, download. Write reviews for us if you could possibly be so kind.
Subscribe.
That's a big thing, and help us pit the social media over. If you like our pages, our Twitter, tell your friends to follow us. We're on Facebook, BroadStreetBreakdown.com, Twitter, BSB Radio 1, the whole deal. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Go like the Facebook page.
Yeah, go like us. Tell your friends to like us. Tell everybody that you enjoy us, and tell them they should listen.
We like you.
Word association, Vin, I need a direction. You want to start?
I'll go. I haven't gone first.
Oh, we're gonna do that way.
Amazing.
All right, Jeffrey, I'm gonna throw Rudy Ray Moore at you.
Dolomite. That's what pops in my head.
Who goes next?
The Human Tornado.
Nice. Vinny?
There's arguments from some people. It's incorrect, but that he was the first rapper.
Yeah, yes and no. Jeffrey, Daniel Bryant.
He'll work again.
He will work again.
That was like a Karnak.
My,
I like it.
mine is super similar to Gavin's in that I was gonna say his whole thing has been a work. The injury has been a work.
You've been
but
saying that.
yeah, so it'll come to fruition. We'll look like geniuses as always. Great worker. Not so much on the mic. Work his ass off. Crazy.
Seems like a nice guy. Dude.
Yeah, seems like a good dude.
Jeffrey, Sisters of Mercy.
Black Planet.
Pablo?
Large fag band.
Jeez.
Skate Betty. I meant Skate Betty.
Nobody
Skate Betty.
says that anymore.
No one says that?
No. But we all know what you mean.
You'll dance to anything. Go ahead.
I like that.
All right.
Vinny, Sisters of Mercy.
No sold, no sell them. But one of those bands that I was forced to hear because of my environment.
I'm just gonna say, hey now, now.
I like them.
I like them as well.
I like anything about the planet being black
Dark.
and dark and cloudy.
Take this corrosion from me.
Yes.
Jeffrey, Verbal Assault.
I listened to them today.
Did you?
A song, Leeches, I think is the song I listened to.
Pablo.
Verbal Assault. Come simple to the mix.
The words were wrong. But
Where they were off.
He's tried. Give him an E for effort.
verbal assault, hard as nails.
Yeah. Strangely enough, my favorite song by them is like the most pussy song they ever did, the one with the fucking piano.
It might have been verbal
shit.
abuse I'm thinking of.
I think you are. Yeah. I
You
think
know
that's
what?
you're
I
thinking
might be
of.
too because
Yeah.
Who's verbal assault? Hit me again.
Trial is like the album that they're known for.
No,
They
I'm
have
not
a
hip.
what
couple-
label?
I couldn't even tell.
Nah,
you.
I'm thinking
verbal
of verbal
assault.
abuse.
Oh,
Look it up, P.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse is the band.
The song that I'm
And hard.
thinking of
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
love is You Are Scared, So Am I, So Am I.
That's
not
not.
hip at
I'm not up on that.
I like that band. I love Verbal Abuse.
I love that Pablo butchered a lyric and all the hip hop heads. Please.
Boo.
Let him hear.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, the band 108.
Oh my.
That would be the number 108.
See, here's the thing. I never heard a note that they played.
Me neither.
I'm trying to be diplomatic in life and on the podcast and not talk shit.
PMA.
Whatever. I cannot stress enough how much that is not for me. If I tell you that that's not for me, times that by fucking 10,000, and that's how much it's not for me. I have a lot of things I want to say that I'm not going to say.
PMA.
PMA. I'm not mad at that.
Neither am I.
I've never heard
He's
of
a
I don't
changed
even
man.
know what their deal is. Like what?
That's not my personally
Bag.
me.
Yeah.
That's not my hardcore. That's not punk rock to me. That's not. No, thank you.
In my mind,
Oh, I want to say so much stuff.
in my mind, I'm seeing like would you say they're a Christian? They were a Krishna. They were in on the Krishna thing.
That's what
Okay.
the 108 is.
Okay, then I hate that. Just on general principle.
Their name comes from the number of beads on the Japamala, or
Yeah.
mantra counting beads.
Yeah. See, I got no time.
Mantra Panchayatra equals Tantra.
Wow. Is that actually your answer? Is that your?
I mean, we just talked for 10 hours about it. We're still gonna go around the round table.
Vin?
Victor Cara was mad cool to me when I was young. Rob Fish, the singer, if I ever see him, is getting punched in his face on site.
Oh, word?
Super disrespectful when I was mad young when he was in Release and Resurrection. If you're a dick to a 12 or 13-year-old kid, you're an asshole and you deserve a punch in the face.
I never heard that.
So as an adult, if I ever see him, he'll get rocked. And I brought this up to a friend of mine who's in a huge hardcore band, and he was like, I met that dude, and this is in another state. And he was like, he was a fucking asshole. Wow. So it wasn't an instance where
Called him at a bad time.
I caught him at a bad time or
right.
something. But Vic from 108, not only was he mad cool to me, but before JMT, Stoop and I were called Soulcraft, which is a Bad Brain song. And Vic put that in my mind that would be a cool name for a group. So,
as far as the music, were you?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Riffs all day.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for riffs.
I've literally never heard a note.
Me
I couldn't
neither.
even tell you
Me
what
neither.
they sound like or anything. Jeffrey, Kurt Angle.
No, he's gonna make me mad.
Brilliant worker.
I like.
Brilliant on the mic.
I like.
I think that his injuries and issues have sort of tarnished his legacy.
Olympic champion, hit on Robin.
I did not know that.
Yes. Hard.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Was she digging it?
No. Which was strange.
She likes a muscular man.
Brilliant worker. His mic work as a heel with Vince is some of the funniest shit ever in the history of the biz. He might crack my top 10 all time.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Jeffrey, a good close personal friend of Vinnie Paz is Danny Bonaducci.
Jeez.
Danny Bonaducci.
Any run-ins with him?
Yeah, but
Today,
Fuck.
Danny Bonaducci. I don't
Partridge
have-
Family.
The sister on the Partridge Family at the time was super attractive.
What does
Susan
it? No,
Day?
Susan Day.
that's not Danny Bonaducci though.
Oh my God. He's gonna punch you in the fucking nose.
He's
She's
drawing
still
all his.
attractive on LA Law?
She's all right.
Yes. Sure.
Pablo, Danny Bonaducci.
Have heard nothing but bad things about him in Philadelphia.
Vinny.
Echo Pablo's sentiment, and he thinks he's tough.
I have two Danny Bonaducci stories. I'm gonna tell them real quick. In 1990.
What a coincidence! They're in the word
They're in the
association,
word
and you have stories.
I worked at a Wawa near where he grew up, and he would come in all the time. And this was at the height of a feud between him and our friend Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And he would come into that Wawa, and we tormented him like belligerently.
Would
And-
Mark Mattioli have been
And
helping you?
the person who led the charge is a very old friend of yours, Mark Mattioli, who I miss dearly. And the other one was working at the bar in Old City. This is like 2 or 3 years ago, when he last did his radio show in Philly before he moved. He lived in Old City.
Yeah, I
He
remember.
lived literally around the corner.
Right. So he would get done his show in the morning, and he'd come to our bar.
Uh-huh.
And he was a jerk off, and he would bum cigarettes off of he would bum cigarettes off of me. I'd be the only one that early in that would have cigarettes, which annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
So one night he came in at night, and my wife was there, and we were drinking. She was bombed. I was like buzzed. And it was a full bar, and Danny went to each person. Can I bum a cigarette? Can I bum a cigarette? And he gets to my wife, and she just looks at him. She's like, look, Danny fucking Partridge, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not getting a fucking cigarette. You got a job. Go buy a pack of cigarettes. And the whole bar went, woo!
Wow.
Woo! And gave
Why
her
wasn't he buying smokes? What the fuck's the deal with that?
fuck. It was one of those, I don't smoke. I quit smoking. Can I bum
Yeah,
I only
yeah.
smoke when I drink.
Yeah.
He's one of those jerk-offs.
All right, then.
So there you go. Jeffrey, the alligators.
I feel like we talked about them on Tuesday, didn't we?
I think we did.
What a coincidence.
They're good. I like them.
Okay. Pablo?
Didn't they play Disney? Oh, too soon?
That was actually okay.
I liked his too soon.
I like the too soon.
He said too soon as if the joke exploded. And,
Yeah.
The crowd. Yeah.
We all went, ooh.
The crowd, the crowd
right.
turned on me
Right.
that quickly.
Vinny, the alligators.
as Gavin said on Tuesday, that they didn't get enough recognition. I wouldn't be aware of them if he wasn't like, yo, Roger's other band. And I'm like, yeah, the Disasters. He's like, no. His other. So
I have the same exact story.
I'm not very sure why every person doesn't know it and love it,
Yeah.
but they fucking rule.
So
But
good.
I only know it from Gavin.
And I think I remember a little while back Roger posting something about getting together with the alligators and doing another record. I don't know if anything came of it.
Nice.
What I'm going to say is alligators is my favorite Twitter account.
Nice.
And that would be alligators.
Alligators.
Oh,
Wah,
pop.
wah, wah.
Jeffrey, Fat Beats, the record store.
I don't know what that is.
I didn't think you would.
I love when that's his answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it applies to.
I remember Vinny doing an in-store
He
there.
was about to say, I remember
remember
doing
doing
it.
it. Store
Like,
that-
he was doing it.
I saw some autographs that day.
Do you remember the show in Baltimore where he just fucking sat down at the table next to, I think it was Dez, and like Dez was like signing shit, and
I
you might
mean,
have been there.
This bull asked
And
for my
people-
autograph.
People were like putting shit in front when he was rocking the Andre Agassi look, and people, he's like, okay, I'll sign this.
Yeah, I mean,
Them shits are going for like 100 on eBay.
This motherfucker. But anyway, Vinny, Fat Beats.
I didn't even fucking get a chance to answer. Jeff, why is he even asking me?
Because you were gonna tell his story. Go ahead.
No, I got nothing to say now. F you. I'm boycotting the rest of the Word Association. How you like that?
Oh man.
wow, look, man, you disrespected the
I'm
professor.
sorry. I thought you were done. Please don't be mad.
Wow, man.
He just did the equivalent of turning his back on me.
Fat Beats is groundbreaking. The distribution. At one point, they had New York, L.A., Tokyo, and Denmark. Responsible for so many people's careers. Eclipse, DJ Eclipse, Q, Unique, Bill, all worked there in New York at one time. It was the epitome of counterculture.
I remember when we first started pushing your records, like one of the biggest accomplishments was when like Fat Beats agreed to carry. your
Yeah,
record.
absolutely,
We were like,
absolutely.
fucking dancing around.
Yeah, all good dudes there too.
Jesse Ventura.
Well, he was in the East-West Connection.
Oh,
He was the body. He was the governor. He's fucking brilliant promo. And I mean after wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, for some reason, he was in the news a lot. And he grew out the sides of his hair,
he had a salad.
dyed it black,
Yeah,
The salad.
had it out like this,
yeah,
and grew a goatee that was longer than mine.
yes.
And pitted in two braids. Looked like a fucking maniac.
Yeah. His salad
And was
crazy.
talking about like
9/11
stuff.
and-
Yeah.
but 9/11
and
being an inside
these
job.
square straight news motherfuckers had to talk to fucking freak show Jesse Ventura via satellite.
Yeah.
I read one of his books, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
Nice.
Heavy. Brilliant promos, but proved by getting into the governor's mansion in Minnesota how true our everything is a work statement really is. And used Carney to get there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jeffrey, Billy Milano.
Well,
Yeah.
he did that SOD record. That shit was good when I was like 12. Okay, I got a story. When I was a kid, I saw MOD play one of the best shows I've ever seen to this day.
At the Troc
Yeah.
with Exodus
Yes.
in the middle of like a huge snowstorm.
Yeah.
I was there.
I got pinched going in because I had some gimmicks in my army jacket.
Of course.
Somehow,
You're a
as
bad
now,
bad
what
kid.
year was that?
88.
Going to say 88. It had to be 88. Yeah, because Exodus was touring
5, 6,
the
7,
the first
88.
album.
Bonded by Blood.
No, the first album with the jerk off singer.
Oh, after Paul.
Yeah,
Sousa.
yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever, the Cannibal record.
88. So I would have been in the
15.
winter of 88. I was 15. Somehow, at 15 years old, talked the guy working the door to still let me in. I remember it being a brilliant show.
Hooligan.
It was a great show.
Listen.
I mean, I'd like to argue with you, but
I remember he did the entire show from the crowd and the balcony.
yep, I remember that.
And murdering like metal kids on the floor.
Yeah,
Like steamrolling them.
yeah.
Like that.
Pablo.
He did the gimmick where his show was being protested, and he went outside with a sign
Yes.
He
and
did.
protested, and they didn't even know the fuck he was because they're stupid.
Yeah. Vin.
Odd side note, Jackie loves, and I mean loves, the Surfin' MOD record.
Really?
Yeah. How bizarre is that?
That's the
My
craziest
fucking
thing I've ever
mind
heard.
is blown.
I almost want to wake her up
My
and fucking
mind-
get her to loves, and I was like, nobody even ever heard that record
make a
except
note of
you.
that.
Loves it, and somewhere has a physical CD copy of that
My
record.
mind
I don't even
is
know what you're
blown.
talking about.
It's the EP that came out after USA for MOD. Before the next record, they put like this joke EP out.
Surf Nicaragua?
No, that's Sacred
Sacred
Right.
Reich.
No, but it
Which
was
is a
around-
banging record,
It
by
is.
the way.
Anyway,
Much better than,
Yeah,
I thought you
than
guys
their
would.
album.
I thought
That's
you
fine.
guys would be.
My mind.
That's crazy, and I made a note to ask Jackie
Yeah,
next week.
Loves it.
Strange bird. Vin?
Dan, 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 dan. You're dead.
I have a very conflicted thing with Billy Milano.
That's where I was gonna go with it because
Yeah.
I've heard because obviously all that shit was tongue in cheek, but I heard that there's some.
I mean, tongue in cheek or not, there's some language that he used that I don't care who you are or what your angle is. I can't get down with you. I can't support you. The SOD record musically was some of the greatest thrash ever made. But again, like lyrically, like as I got older, I'm just like, I can't get with it. I don't know the dude. I don't know anything about him. I can't say if he's a good or a bad person. But just going on the stuff that he said and he put on record, I have a lot of trouble supporting it. But that was a great fucking show, that MOD show. Jeffrey, the Sweet.
Teenage Rampage.
Nice. Pablo.
Is that like
have
a,
you
a candy shop?
Come on, Google.
I don't know who it is. I'm looking them up. They look like little fancy boys.
Ball blitz.
Fancy boys, like he's fucking manly, man.
Right. like he's oozing.
Yeah.
Machismo.
Yeah.
I got a fucking spider tattoo on my body. Fucking tough as nails.
Touche.
Thank you.
Touche.
Take that sweet and shove it up your ass.
I fucking gave you the point, and you still got to shoot, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's him.
That's right, flinch, motherfucker.
Vin
How you
the
like
sweet.
that?
I like sweet, and then I always say, because the Gavin likes them. Then I'll always say Lenny loves that band, and that's my brother. And then my brother says, "No, you stupid moron. I like Slade."
Nothing wrong with that either.
So for some reason, I confuse them. I don't know why. I actually like both bands, but I don't know why. S and one syllable.
Yeah,
monosyllabic.
Yeah. Jeffrey, Gil Scott Heron.
He's a guy who I'm supposed to like, and at some point when I worked at Tower, I tried to get into it, and I don't give a fuck on any level.
Pablo, say it.
He is on my top 10 list. Best all time. Love him. Love the guy who plays the flute.
Oh, you like people who play the flute.
I do. Skin flute especially. And I had the privilege of seeing him perform live twice.
Nice. Vin?
I think I'm gonna give her a call.
Nice.
And Vince still has my one album he won't get back to me.
Nice.
Spirits.
That's fucking long.
Love Gil Scott Heron. And I can't believe Pablo did not say, and White is on the moon. So.
Because all the bongo stuff I fast forward through.
I love it. Fucking hate all that shit.
love the poetry. Because books, poems,
And so, yeah, well, the first time I saw him play the Tin Angel, he was like, people say, Gil Scott, when you're putting out another album? And I said, when you going to buy the last one? He fucking popped me on
I'll
that.
pop for that.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, Leslie West.
Mississippi Queen.
Nice.
Good on Howard.
Maybe the most underrated guitar player of all time, riff master, and I actually like the parts he sung on Mountain Records.
And all three is just took everything that I was gonna say. I was gonna say great guest, Mississippi Queen, and underrated guitarist.
He had to get his leg hacked off too.
Chopper.
Yeah.
And he's still in good spirits. And
Hey, what are you going to do? Wake up without a leg. Can't put it back on.
Jesus.
Right? Right, Joe G?
Sure.
Did he just call you Joe G?
I said OG. I'm talking to Jeff.
Jeffrey, Young Buck.
The wrestling guys, or is it a rap guy?
The wrestling guy. Right?
The wrestling guys?
Young Bucks are the brothers.
That's what I meant.
Jeffrey, Hulk Hogan?
Hulk
The
Hogan's?
rapper?
Hulk Hogan's?
I think that
I'm not going to like this. He's going to call them spot monkeys. Go ahead. Say spot monkeys.
I think that they are spot monkeys.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Vinny has tried to sell me on them for about 17 years now. Their entire
17.
lifespan. I appreciate them more now than I ever did, and that's still not very much.
Hey.
I don't like the fucking...
I know it's coming for life.
I hate... I can't... Remember a couple minutes ago how I said I hated something? This is on that... I don't remember what it was, but this is on
108.
that... Yeah. No, I don't hate them as much as that. But...
Tricked them.
I don't... Like, they're taking from the worst... What I consider one of the worst gimmicks of all time and trying to make it cool, and these fucking marks are buying it, and it really bothers me.
What's the gimmick?
It's very hard to explain.
Save it for another time.
Okay,
Damn.
fucking...
Well, explain it or don't explain it. You're sitting there going, it's a hard thing, but don't ask me about it. But ask me about it.
The fucking moderator has spoken.
He's making me a little bit legitimately angry. A little bit.
I think you gotta distribute pain, man.
I mean,
I think you gotta club
Draw
a
pictures
langy.
of me with cobwebs.
maybe he's mad because you're drawing pictures of me and not
I'm
him.
not drawing you anymore. You're on the band drawing list.
Me?
Yeah. Fuck. It's done.
That sucks because
Yes.
that means now it's all going to be me.
He can draw me.
Pablo, the Young Bucks.
Yeah, they're okay. I call them spot monkeys. Is what I say.
Didn't he just say, what's that, like 3 minutes ago? He's brilliant, man. He really is an American treasure.
Man.
Spot monkeys, like spot after like. Do you know what a spot is?
No.
Oh.
No.
How do you explain?
You know it's crazy, man?
Know
When
what I'm
someone
saying?
when people are like, what are y'all talking about there? I'm like, yo, we have such an insular way of talking at this point
Yeah.
that I don't know how to explain.
Right. You
We've
just
talked
know
about
or
it.
you
Someone
know.
took your phone and my phone and looked at the combos
They
between each
wouldn't
other.
know.
Nah, I bet one
They
sentence.
would think that we are planning to take over like Yugoslavia, and that it's happening tomorrow.
Yes.
And they're cracking some kind of code, and
Yes.
really we're talking about
Yes.
like
It looks like binary code mixed with
yeah,
Arabic
Right.
and like Hungarian
Right.
with wrestling slang mixed in.
right.
Vinnie, the Young Bucks.
Love them. Fucking like great heels that get good heat. Super like I love that arrogant type of heel, and they do spot. But I'm not mad at that because a lot of people can't do their spots.
Jeff, Susie Sue.
Well, I like a lot of her songs. What I like more is the story in John Lydon's first book where she came over to his apartment and said, "Oh, I just got a washing machine," and he threw her out of the house because she was bragging about her new washing machine. And then he used to yell out the window to her, "How's your fucking clothes? Your clothes real fucking clean? Fuck you."
Yeah. Nice.
Big Susie and the Banshees, Mark.
Nice.
I liked them a lot.
Who is that speaking?
Pubes and Pablo.
Vin, Susie Sue.
Did you bring up Sisters of Mercy on Tuesday?
Yes.
I think I did it in this round.
He did. Word association.
What day is today? Know what I'm saying?
Wow. That was art, man. My opinion of her and the band is the same thing about Sisters of Mercy. I was around people who listened to it, and it was by proxy, and I didn't care, and I still don't. I don't get it.
I sort of marked for Susie and the Banshees, but I liked that in Morrissey's piece of shit autobiography, he spent a good amount of time just trashing her.
I like that she's on the Bill Grundy interview.
Right. And
she's the one who Grundy's fucking with
Yeah.
that Steve Jones
called
gets
him
pissed
on.
off about.
Yeah.
What real quick? What is he shitting on her in as a person or musically? Morrissey.
Mostly as a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as I told you, I bought the book, pre-ordered it, and got through like 10 pages.
It's one of the worst.
It was a
things
ever
written.
fucking
Yeah.
unreal.
It's a steaming hunk of shit. All right, and let's end it with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh. Maybe the only guy off the top of my head I can think of that was consistent babyface throughout his whole career, never turned heel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pablo.
Was called the Dragon.
Did he breathe fire? Know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Pablo loves
You
this.
just got him to snort. Who did the Costanza snort? Fuck, man.
Okay.
I don't really know that I can answer during this storm of psychosis.
I think it's gone off the rails.
All right, well then
Yes.
let's switch it. It's not that. Comment on Prepubescent and Pablo.
The only Gavin can do that. I mark for his impersonation of everyone.
Shit.
He's found a calling at
He has.
in his early 40s.
I'm just glad it takes the heat off a stupid sicko.
Does not.
Yeah. All right. Unless you have anything to say about Ricky the Dragon.
Well, he was brilliant worker, but he's 4,900 years old. And fairly recently, he did a program where Jericho was like shitting on the OGs, and he did some work and was better than like 70% of
No
the current
shit.
roster.
And he looks like $1 million.
Yeah, so
Good for him. All right, and there you have
Yay.
a non-Pablo hat-wearing version
Yes.
of Word. There were no hats for
It's
Word
raining.
Association.
That's why.
this
It's not raining inside.
I don't really know how.
What is
that's-
going on with
I
him?
don't know, man. He's off the rails.
He's fucking turning mics around. He's boycotting.
He boycotted for like one word association.
You know he can't shut
he
up.
He can't hold back.
Did
When
he turn the mic around too?
yeah,
That's awesome.
you were like zoned out. He like pulled back and turned the mic away and then crossed his arms.
That's his version of the fucking
I was
Black
just
Power
gonna
fist.
say that. That's like the Olympics.
Yeah.
When them dudes did the Black Power.
It was
fist thing.
It was protest.
That's what he did.
Yeah, that's what he did, man.
Under protest.
It's like Jesse Owens.
I might join his protest.
Really?
Thank you.
I might. It's a
Solidarity.
movement.
Solidarity.
Well, if you two are gonna do it, I gotta join.
Us versus them.
I'm out.
It'll be 5 minutes of silence during word association.
During the anthem.
I'll have to take over.
Well,
Vinny.
this is the,
What else is going on?
this is the part of the show that I loathe.
Or did you say love?
Pablo, do you know the word loathe?
It's a loaf of bread.
Yes. Yes.
I like bread.
Go ahead, finish it with. Finish it with the tagline.
I'll eat the ants. Know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
And use the bags for lunch bags. Know what I'm saying?
Yo, did you ever hear back from Son who,
No.
no?
Yeah, hopefully that dude learned.
This is a segment of the show we like to call Dear Vin. I like to hate this segment of the show
My favorite segment ever.
because it makes me sad.
Makes me very happy.
No, it doesn't.
fucking thoughts from some maniac.
Dear Vin, dear Vin, I want you to teach me to rap because I listened to you very much and you inspired me, especially with End of Days featuring Block McCloud. Every word in this, including my name, is spelled wrong.
Awesome.
Wow.
And he wants me to teach him how to rap. I'd have to teach him how to speak. First, you got to crawl before you can walk,
And
son.
then teach him to spell. And then teach him to rap.
This is brilliant in a horrible way. As usual, just because I'm not a shitty person, I won't go all in with the name of this. I'm gonna put the word company in air quotes. Hi, my name is Marcus. I work for an I would say advertisement, but some people say advertisement, right? I work for an advertisement company called Blank Marketing. We would like to work with you in reference to your Facebook page, comma, meaning grammatically correct. So far, he's been grammatically correct and spelling right. We would like to work with you in reference to your Facebook page, comma, quotes, Vinnie Paz with a W.
Nah.
Wow.
Vinnie the Paz.
Official.
Please email us at questions@blankmarketing.org or call us at 917 blah 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 347 blah 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 for more details. Feel free to check out our website at blah blah blah.org and research us before contacting us.
Oh.
Thank you. We hope to hear from you soon.
I think, first of all, I think the research is already done with Winnie. That's all you need to know about their company. Second of all, this bull's trying to take my fucking job.
Yes, he is.
That's what I do.
How familiar? Pablo is probably most familiar with the QWERTY keyboard, and he's right. It's right in
Yes.
front of you. Now, you know, I always tell the Winnie the Paz joke
Yes.
overseas. People can't say their V's, and let's be honest, they know our language way better than we know theirs. So I try to lighten up. Is W anywhere near V
No,
on the
it's
QWERTY?
far away.
Okay.
Way far away.
All right. So I'm thinking because both of these area codes are New York.
New York.
Up until that, comparatively, this was well written. Wouldn't you say? I'm not saying.
I mean, compared to everything else.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Comparatively, and Vinnie Paz is in quotes. So
He's trying to take my job.
this will be the final.
I think that's from our friend Black.
Dear Vin, well, you ruined how I was going to approach this, but
He's got to fucking rush it.
he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Vin, is this the one where the guy killed himself? at the
Right.
end? Yeah.
He's like, Vin, is this the one where the guy first went to his mom's house and called his
Yeah.
mom cheating on his dad, and then he killed himself, and then
Oh, proceed.
proceed.
The baby was his.
He was dead the whole time.
It was all a dream.
Well, Sicko ruined it.
I still want to hear it.
It's your man's.
Me too. Know what I'm saying?
Dear Vin, I've been asleep for a long time now, and it's a little bit scary repeating yourself for the dream. I've come so far now. I just tell myself, stick to the path. I better not catch ASAP with the coat out and no money they are selling bullshit farming. I was sleeping in my shell for a long time now. I just repeated myself for my goal. I went to the moon with the show I play with. I'm a saint, Vinny. I have seen the underverse. I'm not getting caught in public, though. That would be stupid. I'm bugging out about the crowd outside because they won't approach. You have a bulldozer, Vinny. You know what to say to them. My hard hat is on. I felt like I had to have burgundy ears, so I hope I'm doing the right thing. The crowd is saying less on in my head. They're going to try to lie their way out. They put themselves in a corner. That is all.
I think he's right.
I mean,
On which point?
I'm not disagreeing with him per se.
They put themselves in a corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody puts Winnie in a corner.
That's right.
Sways. Listen.
What do you got? He with Sweezy?
No. Sways can dance. Sways
Hairdo.
can comb his hair.
He can roadhouse.
Can fight.
Sways can bounce at the double douche.
He can do
Right.
the fucking death punch and punch you in the heart and kill you.
Well, he doesn't like to do that.
Right, but he can.
Sways can bang the broad in the closet room. Is that him or is that the other dude?
Sways can carry two
Who did
bundles
he
of
bang?
roofing
Who-
at a time.
Wow. Who did he bang in the? What happened?
Was that the other dude in Roadhouse? He walks in
Roadhouse.
I don't remember.
and he,
Sways can beat up Terry Funk a lot of times in the movie
yes.
Roadhouse. Sways apparently can kill the other guy and a lot of his people in a town, and there's no repercussions.
Yes. Sways was a poltergeist.
Sways can do pottery.
Yes.
Big fan of Swayze.
All
Swayze
day.
can surf with that fuck Keanu Reeves.
And then go rob a bank.
Wear a Ronald Reagan mask.
Look.
Swayze can say something. No, War Child. What's that? What's the fucking? Ah, man, I don't know that movie well.
Johnny Utah, man.
Fuck, I forget.
Johnny Utah.
Love the Swayze.
Love him all day.
R.I.P. Pat.
All day.
Pat.
That's how I know him.
Sicko, write that down. So we'll wrap this up the way we wrap up every show, and that will be.
Where are we?
Well, no. Well, look, listen. I was a little thrown off because Pablo doesn't have a cheapo tip, or he doesn't feel he has one that's up to par.
And yet
I'll take umbrage with that, and that's only because his daily life is full of so many. I think he needs to share with me a little. Like, he's not big on talking via text for whatever reason. It must bother him. But I think he should report, like, everything he does to me through the day, and then
that
I will.
may bring
it
on
might
more.
spark something.
That is true.
I mean, just earlier we had one.
Right. So you and I were like, that's one. So I needed a Sharpie, and Sicko was no selling
Being
me,
stingy with his Sharpies.
even though he had 4 in his bag.
That's right.
Stupid stingy Sharpie
Stupid
sicko.
yeah. Gavin gives me a turd like I'm a rented mule.
It's timeout.
You gave me a turd.
Timeout. You said to me, I need a Sharpie. And I said, I don't have a Sharpie. And he said, yeah. And Sicko said, yeah, I left the one here. We put it over there. I went and got that one, handed it to you. Just because it crapped out sometime in the process of last week, this week, whatever.
Hey, listen,
That's
man.
not my fault.
Whose is it?
Sicko's.
How's it my fault?
All
It
right.
was your Sharpie to begin with.
I'm fine with it being his.
Thank you.
All right. So
I'm not fine with it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm struggling because Sicko won't break bread, and Blow goes into his bag and gives me what appears to be a Sharpie.
Always be prepared.
I take the cap off.
And he kept pushing it like, I got one. I got one.
I take the gimmick off the top to start writing, and there's no marker
There's
on it.
nothing. Not even a nub.
I wrote like 6 letters with it, and there was steam coming off of my head. So I fucking recap and throw it down out of anger, in just waiting to throw it out. And this motherfucker takes it and re-puts it back in his bag.
Right in the bag.
We ask him what the fuck he's doing, and I don't remember his response, but
It looked like this tip was still there. I'll re-tip it. We're gonna use this thing. If there's still ink in there, we're gonna use it.
Maybe he'll melt some fucking crayons down.
and jam him.
I'll go to Michael's, get some new felt, re-tip it.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
No.
Anything's possible at Michael's.
Sicko,
Anything's
write
possible.
that down.
You get me a glue gun and some styrofoam. Fix that shit right up.
So, regardless, it's going to end up in Pablo's hands, cheapo tip and no cheapo tip, because he will now take us through the mailbag.
Yes. We have a triumphant return of somebody we all know and love.
I mean, there's been heat. I don't know if it's who I think, but there's been heat.
This can't be good.
Yes, this is good old Buddy Correct.
Oh, here we go.
Is
Questions
he-
for
is he-
Pablo.
What did he look up on Urban Dictionary this week?
He's not coming back at MacMan?
Funny you should say that. Pablo, when performing a bread box,
There it is.
do you prefer to use white wheat, rye, pumpernickel, or sourdough? So, and also, I'm trying to grow a bouffant, and yours is exquisite. Any tips on growing a healthy pompadour? Let's get to the first question. So, yes, so I have to go to Urban Dictionary to see what he looked up.
First off, I'm a little disappointed because I taught him about the bread box.
You gave him a bread box?
No, how dare you? How dare you?
Okay. So, Urban Dictionary says a bread box is a sexual act of shoving a rolled up slice of natural homemade bread inside your partner's vagina, allowing her juices to soak into the bread while at the same time jerking the bread back and forth to pleasure her, then pulling out the bread and eating it.
Come on, man.
So I guess if what did he give me my selections? White wheat rye. I hate rye more than anything.
What word was that? You hate rye?
I hate rye bread.
Do you like a nice pumpernickel?
Pumpernickel, I do like. The Outback one's really good.
Okay.
Sour? Are you
Sourdough is
man?
fine, but sour with veg juice might not go well together.
I mean, if you're gonna put any bread in there, would it
I'm
automatically make it sourdough?
I'm gonna do wheat because wheat has like a. It's very natural, so it kind of would blend in with the natural, juices
of
the soiling of the partner's
human body.
Yeah.
Please stop.
And then for the bouffant, I mean, either you got hair or you don't got hair. I don't know what to tell you.
Either you were born with it or you're not.
All right, next question. This is kind of for the crew from Josh N. What up, guys? Question for all the crew. Recently, Vince spoke on a situation his barbershop where he was going to break someone's face. Anyway, about 3 months back, I got hit up by some wannabe 16 cholo kids in my hood outside of my house. Long story short, this homie rolled up and pulled a knife on my mother. Unfortunately, my gimmick was inside my house, so I didn't run inside and leave my mother. So I stood my ground, and afterwards he put the knife away and pulled a bat out and swung on me. No big damage done, and no one was seriously hurt. Anyway, sometimes I have dreams of killing the guy who pulled the knife on my mom. I'm not gang affiliated or any of that, so these fuckers just picked me out of the crowd. Did I do good standing my ground, or should I have walked away? Thanks. Keep up the dope work. Gimmick Gang forever.
I think he handled it the best way he could because he's still here telling the story, and
if you leave your mom in,
you can't leave moms. That's some sucker shit. So, and it's you stood your ground, and you had no choice with your moms there. You know what I mean? The bringing your moms into the whole thing, for me, just sets a totally different tone. If you were dolo and you took off, then fuck it, because who knows what could happen. You know what I mean? But moms, you know what I mean? Can't do that. So avoid those motherfuckers like the plague, though, man, because especially if they're on some front and shit, because they're going to try to do some stupid shit to prove themselves. So stay far away from them kids.
Okay, this is for the crew from our old friend Cathal Farrell. Just noticed a line in Vinny's new song about the OG. I love it. And that video is getting crazy reviews on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, salute.
Getting crazy numbers. Anyways, I want to know how to make a real Philly cheesesteak. Because I think he's definitely not in America. I forget where he's from, but he's definitely not America. Right now, I'm working with sliced white pan, red cheddar, and Tesco's cheapest steak. Enlighten me. And remember, if anyone asks, you didn't get it at Tesco's.
What the fuck's happening?
I don't know, man.
Remember how we were gonna shoot on bad questions? I'm calling this.
He's got white pan, which I guess is maybe
Why? It's not bad.
a thing in England. Maybe that's the brand of white cheese. So you definitely need American cheese. You got to get that.
You need American cheese or cheese whiz. You need the right. You need the right cut of steak, which you're not gonna get if you're not.
It's a chip steak, I think, is what they cut up here.
A ribeye sliced mega thin.
You got to get the roll. You ain't got the roll, so it's a toss up.
You can never get the rolls that we have here, so you'll never be able to taste.
So you can get close, but you ain't gonna get the full Monty. I like the fried onions. We talked about this earlier.
From?
I could look it up, but I know he sent a ship before.
He's from overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fly the fuck over here and get one, man.
All right, last question.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh wait, look.
No, I'm with them.
All right.
I'm just saying, it's a lot of
I
work.
mean, we could send him again. We could send him one.
We'll freeze dry it.
Yeah.
All right.
And then look, one last question. Cody Mack.
Oh, this is a shocker.
For who? Vin. Would the worst cross-country drive be you stuck in a car with Correct and Heated just talking about sports?
I'd rather be with Correct and Heated cross-country than with Sicko.
What do I got to do with any of it?
That's the best possible answer to that question.
Thank you.
That was uncalled for.
And that's
How dare you?
Look.
You would love to go cross country with me.
I wouldn't like to go cross the city
town.
with
I
you.
wouldn't go cross town with you.
I wouldn't want to go from South Philly to West Philly.
Yeah. And that, my friends, is Le Mailbag.
All right. Well,
Jesus.
we close every show with recommendations. Gavin is unprepared.
Once again.
He doesn't. I saw Sicko's out of the corner of my eye. He's stealing everything from me.
Yeah. Everything is yours.
Well, as long as you know that.
Yeah, exactly. You said it.
Recommendations. We'll start with Stupid Sicko. Stupid Sicko.
Mine is from a series of books that Vin invented.
That's correct.
He has written every single one of them. And so I'm going to steal from him the book series. Vin's talked about it before. It's the 33 and a third. My favorite one of them all is by a guy named Joe Pernice, Pernice. It covers the Smiths' Meet His Murder. It's different from any of the other 33 and a third books I've read because it's not technical. It doesn't talk about the album at all. It's more of a pseudo-fictional story of him being in high school and following a girl around who liked the Smiths, and the Meet His Murder album being the background music to that time in his life and his pursuit of this girl. And it's really well written. It's a nice story, and it was a cool departure from the way all the other ones are very technical on about how shit was made in the studio and how songs were written.
Some of them aren't, but
okay, the ones that I've read,
Okay.
that's been my experience
the
with
Ghetto
them.
Boys one very little has to do with the making of
That
the
sounds
album,
cool.
and it has to do with the America and Black America at the time of the
very
record,
cool.
and Houston and the Fifth Ward and all of that.
And actually, now that I think about it, the one I read on Sly and the Family on the what's the album with the American flag? There's a riot going on.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. It's about a dude and his father in the car.
Since you're putting this over and I've put it over, I want to say to anyone that's buying the ones we've suggested, definitely buy them. But the Nas Illmatic 33 and a third might be the worst book ever written, not about music, just ever.
Oh, really?
It's like this kid admittedly in the book first heard rap in 2003.
Hello.
He's mega young white kid. He's naming wrong people who are legends. I have no idea how it slipped through the cracks because a lot of these books are amazing. I just had to say that because
I didn't even know about that.
You don't want that to be your first
right.
one.
I don't want someone to be
yeah.
like, they put these. I haven't read a bad one, and I've read tons of them. I've read Meet His Murder. I own tons of them. Pet Sounds is great. They're dope. The Public Enemy, dope. Beastie's dope. Slayer, dope. DX Ferris did it amazing. But
That's a great one.
yeah, it's a piece of shit, the Illmatic one, and it's a shame because
That is a
that
shame.
album's brilliant and it deserves
Yeah,
justice.
it deserves much more. This is my favorite of
So
the
I'm
ones.
sorry to cut you off.
No,
I
that's
just
fine. This is my favorite of the ones I've ever read. Obviously, it's about a great album, but I just really like the approach that the dude took to it. It really spoke to me. A lot of
You're not gonna sing Meet His Murder?
It is murder.
No.
And the so fancifully
Because that's what would
fried.
happen. That's why.
Pablo.
Speaking of
What
Black
the
America.
fuck is with him? He's been shooting on me all night.
He's shooting on everyone, man.
Fuck, but I feel like he's been throwing it my way more than anything. Usually,
Yeah,
fuck
no one
with
else
him.
is shooting on you at all. Just me.
I'm gonna throw some shit at him.
Speaking of Black America,
Oh,
this is a cartoon I just found. It's a new one on Comedy Central called Legends of Chamberlain Heights.
A word? I never
It
even
is
heard of
fucking hilarious.
this. All right.
It's like black bulls, but then there's a white bull, and then there's an Asian bull and a Puerto Rican bull, and they're just in the hood
Okay.
doing hood shit.
Okay.
And the language is pretty bad. Like, it's where the Boondocks and Chappelle Show left. They're picking up on it.
All right, word.
It's crazy. The episode that was on...
How many episodes in
Three.
is
There are
it?
3 in as of right now.
All right.
The last one is the bull trying to get some new kicks, and they're called shackles. And the commercial is like slaves running away from the slave master,
dude.
and then their shoes turn into gold, and they're called shackles. Like, yo, I gotta get the new shackles,
Wow.
and it's just like crazy ignorant, and it's just so what them getting shackles is like what you guys were saying about South Street, like it turning in. They go in the bad part of town because it's the only shoe store that's got the shackles,
Right.
and then like they're last in line. It's 8 at night, and all of a sudden it flips. And now it's Hood. It's not like a spot to buy. So they got to get out of town, and they play it off like the Warriors.
Oh, word.
So everyone's trying to get them because they got dope kicks. And it's just fucking hilarious. But
I gotta peep
it's
this.
crazy. Called Legends of Chamberlain Heights.
Nice.
OG, you got anything, pal? Or no, you just
do.
want to leave them with peace and love.
No, my recommendation is the conversation that's going on in my head right now between Stupid Sicko and Pubescent Pablo
Okay.
that I'm working on for next week.
All right.
And
So the
also
recommendation is to wait.
the iPhone 6 Plus.
I do
Okay.
not like the sound of that.
My recommendation.
Am I shooting on Stupid Sicko in your head?
It's a conflict.
All right.
My recommendation is Lennon Remembers. It's actually it's the full Rolling Stone interview that Lennon did with Jan Wenner in 1970, but this is updated relatively recently in the 2000s. If you're a Beatles fan, a Lennon fan, it's must read. It's definitely an instance of, be careful of getting to know your heroes too well, because he's a dickhead. It drives home why I am correct about Yoko Ono and why Sicko and Gavin are incorrect.
Jeff Gavin writes for me.
She's a horrible person. She interrupts minimally 50% of the questions that Jan Wenner asks and butts
In the book, she's an asshole.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like
I could open this up on any page and open it to you, and Yoko's answering a question for John. Just a horrible, wretched, horrible human being. John shits on Paul for most of it. He shits on everybody for most of it. He somehow he does this thing a lot too. This is like the 5th time I've read it. He'll shit on everyone and then shit on himself as if that absolves him.
Like, ha ha ha, we're all.
Just like, well, I'm shitting on myself so I can shit on you, and I don't buy that. But he was a genius, is a genius. Probably the most brilliant mind, musically speaking, the 20th century. But the super difficult dude. And for those who believe the OG and Sicko that Yoko isn't a piece of human garbage, you can read this, and that way know that I'm the right one about it.
If it wasn't,
Imagine all the people.
if it wasn't,
He didn't write that yet.
Imagine the man of the people.
if it wasn't what time it is, I would argue with you, but I can't get into it.
We
now.
can pick it up, man.
To be
next
fair
time.
to OG, he said she's not that much of a piece of shit to Courtney Love. He
No,
never said she was
no,
the
no,
best.
No, he likes her.
No, that's not true.
Yes,
that's
it
not
is.
what. That's not what I said at all.
Yes, it is.
I said that
Yes,
Yoko
yes, it
is not. The fault does not lie in Yoko. The fault lies in John. That's really what I said.
Wow. Listen, I need
And
to.
from what you just said, kind of proved the point. John was the problem. Nobody was telling John what to do, and John. Listen. John was a difficult, nasty motherfucker who, by the way, needed people to take care of him. That was Yoko's role. Yoko made sure he got through the day. Yoko made sure he did this, that, and the other thing because he was so fucking difficult. He wouldn't have done this interview with Jan Wenner. He wouldn't have done whatever. Yoko's role was what John wanted her role to be. So he said, when we go do this interview, I want you to fucking speak up. I want you to fucking say whatever you say.
Ah.
I'm telling you, man, If you think that she had that much influence in that relationship, you are mistaken. Nobody was telling him anything. And just his ego, like you just said, with him shitting on everybody and all that stuff, nobody's telling him shit, including the millions of people who followed them when he first got with her. And they're like, he's like, oh, you're going to fucking react like that? Guess what? I'm marrying her, and you're going to see her all the fucking time. He was a nasty, contradictory.
None of that relieves her of what she says when given the opportunity by him.
I would almost bet that they had gimmicks worked out before they talked to anybody.
That's because you correctly believe that everything is a work. In this case, I don't think that it was.
He wanted to change his image.
He admits as much.
Yeah.
In not those words, but
he wanted to be a revolutionary. He wanted to be involved in the movement.
He
the
also thought the
underground
shit.
and whatever.
He
but
wanted shit to be harder. He wanted.
Yeah. The problem is he was already who he was. You don't change that. It doesn't work that way. So Yoko, if anything, was part of the gimmick and worked for him. She worked for him. He didn't work for her.
Kubi.
I just don't think that and it's not defending Yoko so much as Yoko was a pawn in this game. Yoko didn't have the power to do any of this stuff.
When you're given a voice, in my opinion, you have the opportunity to do what that will with that voice. And every time she spoke up since the late 60s, I haven't liked anything that's come out of her mouth. So it's not a situation where if I'm going to have to say she ruined the Beatles and made John do this and do that, I might not say that, but I won't.
Well, if we're talking about her individually as a person, I don't give a fuck. I just think that she was a sort of scapegoat for some people. Needed to blame somebody for the Beatles breakup thing. That shit was the collision of the two egos, and Ringo and George not wanting to deal with it anymore.
I mean, Paul's the one that officially broke up the Beatles.
Yeah, Paul's the first one that quit.
That's debated. Even with John, they were with after Brian, what's his name, died. They're in the Apple offices. John wants to quit, but they don't want that to be announced because it's gonna fuck up their business. It's gonna fuck up the Apple shit that they had all their money in or whatever, which was an awful idea.
If I remember right, that's a separate time from when Paul. This is at the very end. Paul quit.
Paul did in an interview and said, "I'm no longer a Beatle."
Right.
That
But
is John already wanted to quit. They talked John out of announcing it. Then Paul announced that he wasn't a Beatle anymore on a snake move.
That's John's story. And I'm the McCartney defender. But between the two of them with the egos and the fucking bullshit going back and forth, who the fuck knows what was true? I know that George was like, guess what? Not dealing with you two anymore.
Yeah.
So it basically imploded, whether Yoko was there or not. It doesn't really matter so much who quit and who broke the band up and who did whatever. People needed somebody to blame.
I'm saying you can take out two brilliant guys and their psychoses out or neuroses out of the equation,
right?
And I still think the same way about her. If you feel like I'm putting it on her, I won't. They were fucked anyway.
Yeah. That's really what my point is. She gets a bad rap for now. If you're gonna tell me she shit about her as a person, that I'm not gonna debate. But she gets a bad rap as far as the scapegoat for the problems with the Beatles and John going down the road he went down. I don't believe Yoko had a fucking thing to do with either one. That was all John's shit. Being a 30-year-old who has access to everything, probably one of the wealthiest people in the world at the time.
Absolutely.
Who can do whatever he wants, and he decided that was going to be his trip for a while. She wasn't telling him shit.
Yeah.
Is she as a person fucked? Sure. I don't know. I don't care. So maybe you misunderstood. I'm not defending her as a person per se, but defending that she was not the problem in the Beatles and with John. John was calling them shots for sure.
Yeah, sure.
And honestly, the two of them were fucking junkies at the time.
Yeah.
So you know how that fucking goes.
Yeah, of course.
We all been there.
We've all been there. Know what I'm saying?
I don't think either one of them were really the best people in the world at the time.
Hate the Yoko.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I hate her too. Know what I'm saying?
This has
Yoko,
been
oh
episode
no. Know what I'm saying?
34
Know what I'm saying?
of
Know what I'm saying?
the
Know what I'm saying?
Broad
Know what I'm saying?
Street
Know what I'm saying?
Break
Know what I'm saying?
Down.
Know what I'm saying?
Stay informed.
See y'all next time.
Know what I'm saying?
Peace.
Peace.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?